Welcome to Morning Infusion with Dr. V. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be suicidal and then turn your pain around to become an entrepreneur? Well, my name is Dr. Viola Pierce. I am the owner and the CEO of VP Nursing and the Nurse Nurturer and the facilitators of Secret Suppers Worldwide with Dr. V, where our goal is to teach nurses to leverage the knowledge that they already know, working from their computers around the world, making money and owning their own time. Our goal is to come to you each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to give you the fuel to crush your goals, to show up exceptional on a daily basis. Know that one of the goals of Morning Infusion with Dr. V is to expose you to leaders that have overcome so that you know that the possibilities are endless. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And if you were ever told that you would not succeed, leave us a comment. And remember to click the calendar link above if you wanted to create another stream of income and enroll in our 12-week course, VP Nursing Business Academy. Our special guest today is Abisola Akinwande. I told her with this southern accent, we're going to pray about that. Abisola and I have been friends for a while now. So is a passionate labor and delivery nurse, doula, and life coach. She is the creator of PJW Nursing and Doula Services. Abisola provides virtual and in-home services as a doula and nurse consultant to support women and their growing families with cultivating peace and of mind, creating joy in the daily grind, and celebrating the wealth and health of women that gets to uniquely define. Abisola also consults with nurses who are at various stages of their nursing careers and seeks to develop their inner tools necessary to eliminate burnout and show up in sustainable peace, passion, and positivity, both in their professional lives and their personal lives. She coaches nurses on how to get to the core of who they are and what impact they want to make of their lives to have on people around them and the world as a whole. So thank you for showing up today, Abisola. So tell us, first, I want to know, so tell the audience what a doula is.
So a doula is a birth companion who supports you emotionally, physically, mentally in birthing your baby, in birthing, whether it's at home, whether it's in the hospital. We provide you with emotional support. We provide you with resources and education so that your birth experience is one that you feel supported, is one where you can look back on and feel like you had everything you needed in order to bring this new life into the world.
Cool. I like that. So now tell the audience why you became a nurse.
Why did I become a nurse? It just made sense. It made sense for me. And it was something, nursing came easy to me. It was something that from a very young age, I just had a very caring and compassionate side. And also culturally, it was acceptable. It was acceptable. I grew up in a Nigerian household, and you were either a doctor, a nurse, a lawyer, or an engineer. It was one of those four. Nothing else. Nothing else added up unless you were in the medical field in some type of way or doing a professional career. So on that aspect, it was great. And then on the aspect that I knew it was just something that came natural to me. Of course, I had other abilities, which as an adult is starting to come out more now. As an entrepreneur, it's starting to come out more now, but I loved being able to support people in places and in situations where they felt like they needed support, where they felt like they didn't know what to do, when they felt like their health and their wellness was being compromised, when they felt like they didn't have enough information or resources to make better decisions. So it was just great to do this decision, to have the decision of being a nurse. And also walking towards getting that nursing degree was a journey. It was a 10-year journey for me to become a BSN nurse.
What was a 10-year journey? I didn't know that.
It started back in high school when I tried to become a LPN. I went to both of the major high schools in New York City that offered an LPN program with your high school diploma, which I failed out of both of them. Then
Wow.
I transferred like 3 or 4 different colleges trying to get into a nursing program, but my GPA wasn't strong enough. So what I was doing was I was taking the courses that I really loved, which were cultural anthropology courses, psychology courses, sociology courses, and I love those. And it boosted my GPA enough. And I got a cultural anthropology degree first, then went back to school and did an accelerated nursing program because I was like, nah, so we gonna finish this out. I was determined. I was determined because I was like, I'm not gonna let nursing hang over me, knowing that I know I would be a great nurse.
And plus you gotta stand up to the standards of those four, right?
Exactly.
Now you decided that you wanted to become an entrepreneur. What was the reasoning that you wanted to take on such an endeavor?
I was naive. I was young, passionate, and naive. I am young, passionate, and naive about things. I did not know what it would entail to be an entrepreneur. I did not know the shifts and the changes and the adjustments that I would have to go through. Not only me, my family would have to go through in order for me to say, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a life coach. I did it because I knew there were qualities and there were things happening within me and around me that supported me in earlier ages that I wanted to offer the world. There were solutions that I feel like had worked for my life that I wanted to be able to give the world on a larger scale, and that's really one of the reasons why I became an entrepreneur as well. I had problems that I was having. I had problems with how I was thinking, and I was bold enough and had the understanding enough to look for the resources, do the research, and really apply different things to my life that supported me.
And the reality is that is the reasoning most of the time that we become entrepreneurs is because of the fact that we see, a gap. And when you see that gap and you want to change, you want to make sure that that gap is filled, then you become an entrepreneur. But you can either, and I say this all the time, that the pain of regret weighs tons, where the pain of discipline weighs ounces. And so
Mm.
we can either have the discipline right now to become entrepreneurs, right? As opposed to later in our life having regret. And so you chose that. And it is a shift. It really is a shift. But as nurses, we are amazing, right?
Uh,
And we can do, amazing things. So I'm super excited about where God has taken you. Now, you invested in yourself to become a certified coach. Now, do you think that that investment to become a coach is important?
I do. I do think it's important, but I also feel like it's important for you to know what time for you to make that investment in a sense of knowing where you are on your journey and knowing how the coaching or how the certification is going to support you. Being able to research the school, research what they offer, and apply what they offer to your life is something that I had to do. Being able to coach myself, being able to see where my own biases, my own cultural upbringing, my own emotional set point, where that came in, and knowing how to shift that or how to put that in a place where it doesn't affect the people I'm coaching, or it doesn't impact in a negative way or cloud over the support that I can offer someone in getting to their goal. You know, I feel like getting certified gave me clarity on being able to see my own junk, being able to see my own junk and being able to see the impact my mental junk had in my life, and being able to process and work through that junk so that I can feel like, okay, I've done it. Now I can offer it,
That's right.
And I feel like some people come into coaching thinking that they can just focus so much on the other person. And at first, that was it, because I'm a nurse. That's what I'm used to. We focus on so much on the personal or on the patient, and we forget ourselves, and that's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. What was happening at first, at the beginning of this journey in 2018, before I got certified, before I took all the classes, was I was carrying people's loads. I was carrying people's loads and learning why I was carrying people's loads, why was it necessary? How do I put it down? How do I put my own load down to realize that it's really not in the present, it's more in the past? That's what really, being around people who have experience, being around people who have done their own work, being around people who are willing to share their own stories and be vulnerable about what they've experienced is important. Is
It is.
important.
It
So,
is so important. You're absolutely right. And understanding that understanding of your own self-worth, that understanding of your own self-work is huge, 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 huge as it relates to coaching. Because what happens when you coach, and I didn't get this at first, right? Because I used to precept, right? And I think this is a valuable lesson for people who are precepting in organizations, right? It's a valuable lesson for you to understand what you are carrying so that you do not let that. And as leaders, as preceptors, whoever you are within an organization, if you're in any type of leadership position, you need to understand what you're bringing to the table, because when you walk through those doors, you want to walk through those doors and you want to be able to affect the environment. And if you walk through that door and you have an attitude, and I had to learn this the hard way, if you have an attitude and if you have a bad day, then you bring that into that place. And and of course, Tanisha and Tanisha is, I'm so thankful for her, and I'm so thankful for what she always says. She says, I pour from my overflow. I don't
mhm.
pour from my cup, right? And she said, I don't give anybody anything from my cup. Understanding that your overflow is what you give everybody else. If you keep your cup full, then you can come into that space and you're okay. Now, you said that you worked extra to pay for your certification. Now, how did this affect your family?
Whew. It affected my family greatly, simply because at that time I had a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, and I was going on my 5th year of marriage. And coaching, like I said, I grew up in a Nigerian household and around Nigerian people and Nigerian American people. We did not have an understanding of what life coaching was, first of all. So even just being able to wrap my brain and his brain around what coaching is, if it can be sustainable as a career, as a profession, it was huge. So having to incorporate the training, having to incorporate the time necessary to commit to actually learning what this was and how I can use it, it was huge because I was working night shifts. I also would still I would still take care of my kids during the daytime at some points. It was just unsafe for me to be working that many hours and trying to do what I was doing. And for me, I had to take a step back. And my husband he tried to show me, like, you're doing too much right now. You're doing too much. And it's what led to my burnout, being able to incorporate and add this entrepreneur journey. And also, my mom did pass away along this journey suddenly. It led to a huge burnout, and it affected me. It affected my family. It affected how I showed up. It affected what was the priorities in my life. And I had to do a whole restructuring. And that's the part that a lot of entrepreneurs don't necessarily go into detail about. The fact that you may be trying to build a business, but your life may also be falling apart at the same time, and it's all because of what's happening inside of here. It's all because of what we haven't dealt with or what we haven't made clear for our current journey. It's all because maybe we aren't taking accountability or responsibility. I wasn't taking accountability and responsibility for my time and for what the priorities were in my life and how that looked. I felt like an imposter, even when it came to the entrepreneur journey, when it came to being a mom, when it came to being a wife, you know? And as nurses, I can see so much of how I felt coming into my job, coming into how I related to coworkers, coming into how I related with patients, like always feeling like Do I really know what I'm saying? Do I really know what I'm doing? Always interacting with doctors in a way where I, felt scared, or I felt like I couldn't say certain things. So
Been
this
there.
this whole journey, and I look at it and I'm thankful for this whole journey. I'm thankful because it's allowed me to theorize, conceptualize, and create different frameworks of understanding that I can apply, and see different results, and see like, okay, this is the cycle of the imposter syndrome. This is the cycle of the peace. This is the cycle of not feeling confident in myself. This is the cycle of what I have to do so I can be present and enjoy every moment.
And that's one of the things that I value about my journey in the emergency department, because you have to talk to doctors all the time. Like, literally, they're right here, right? And you
Yep.
have to talk to them all the time. And you have to be very confident in how you show up for your patients, right? And that helps you to show up for yourself in that very same manner, right? Because this physician came in one day, and he was upset about the fact that I wasn't given this medication. And it was a medication that was a pregnancy category D drug, right? And she had just found out she was pregnant. And for those of you who don't know, pregnancy category D is the most unsafe. Pregnancy category A is the most safe. And so he came in and he said that he wanted to give this drug. And I was like, I don't feel comfortable doing that. AKA, I ain't giving it. I ain't know what he was going to do. But what I did know was that he couldn't get in the Omnicell. What I did know was that if I didn't give him the medication, she wasn't going to get it. And I did know if he went to someone else, they would say the same thing. They would be like, why are you coming to me to give this medication when she is the nurse for that patient, right? And so when I did that, I was like, well, okay. And that gave me the confidence. I think that gave me a different type of confidence as it relates to this entrepreneur journey, for sure. So I love that. Now, you mentioned, after your mom passed away, that you became suicidal. Now, what were some of the practices that you did to combat these suicidal feelings?
Yes. I remember the exact date and the exact place that I was when I had that thought of, what if I just did something to myself and I remember myself feeling like I was at a war. And I look at it like I was at a war between being in the cycle that I know was destructive and creating something new that I know would inspire and influence me in a different way and to show up differently. What I did was I got very aware. I got very aware and I got very vocal with myself. I wasn't lying to myself anymore. I wasn't trying to hide it from anyone. I wasn't trying to look at myself in a way like this is wrong. I literally got aware and I accepted that this thought was there. And I recognized that it's not the thought that is going to take me to where I want to go. The thoughts came about because I was trying to jilt myself out of that cycle of destruction. The thoughts came about because I felt like, how do I get my own attention? How do I get my own attention to create the changes that I needed to incorporate in my life? The thought came about because everything looked crazy in my mind. Everything looked confusing in my world. It no longer was going by the thoughts and the feelings that I thought were taking around this goal. It was just a mess with my mom, with working, with being in burnout. It was a mess. I got aware. I documented. I used to video myself because I'm like, no, this is something else talking to me right here. I would video myself. I would journal. I would meditate. I sought therapy. I sought coaches. I had a spiritual coach. I had a Christian coach. I had a business coach. I mean, I did whatever I had to do to get the resources to understand what was happening for me in that moment and to realize that I was not my thoughts. That's one of the biggest things that came from that period of time. I am not just my thoughts, okay? And my thoughts, I can create.
Oh, Lord, when she went away. Let's see. I just wanted to say something about what she just said, because what she said was she was not her thoughts. And I think that what happens is in the time period is that we have these thoughts that come to us. We have these thoughts that are just there. And we start to think, well, we are that thought. So, we have these thoughts that are ruminating in our lives, and we struggle. We struggle with those thoughts. We struggle with those thoughts, but acknowledging the fact that it is a thought, and here she comes back. Hold on. Are you
Hello.
back? All right,
Yes,
here we go. Yay.
I don't know what that was. We were getting too deep into it. That's what it
That's right.
was.
That's
No.
right. So finish your statement. Finish what
Yes.
you were saying.
So I was saying I could create enough space between that thought and realize that I had the power to change those thoughts. I had the power to do and think and feel something differently. I had the power to understand where those thoughts were coming from, and that they don't define what I can do. So it really was an empowering place for me to be. And I love how much I learned from it, how much I grew from it, and what it did for me to see myself in that way and to know that that's not, I don't have to be that way. I don't have to stay in that mentality. I can choose different. We can all choose different. Like we may have a frame of thought that we were raised with or that seems more acceptable, but realizing that we are this creative nature that literally can shift and change and move and flow in so many different ways. And it's all there to help us grow, to help support us, to give us an insight and a wisdom that can support us and other people who are along our journey.
And it is so true when as it relates to your thoughts, and understanding that changing your thoughts changes your trajectory of your life. I mean, literally, because when I thought that I would be a bedside nurse for the rest of my life, I thought I was going to be a bedside for nurse for the rest of my life. But once I changed my thoughts, once I changed who what I was thinking, then my whole life changed. Now, you mentioned you tried to push your husband away, but you mentioned as well that it just made your relationship stronger. What were some of the things that happened that made the relationship stronger?
Well, what happened was I got aware and I got accountable for how I was showing up. You know, to know me and my husband, we dated since I've been with him my whole adult life, since I was 18. We didn't get married to 2015. So it was for me looking at, okay, he's been there, the history. The history shows he's supporting me. My thoughts were telling me something different at that time. My
Oh, wow.
thoughts were telling me, he's critical. Oh, he's no narcissist, or he's this and that. All of these thoughts, but I had to really clue into a different part of me that saw that he's been a stable foundation. And the process just allowed us to grow stronger because what I saw was that my thoughts were working against me. What I saw was that I can choose to just be silent and be quiet and observe and really be aware and really accept where I was and really act for grace. For myself, ask for grace. For him, ask for grace, and for him to see all that I was going through with my mom, with everything that was happening with the entrepreneur journey, him being able to see like, yeah, okay, this is not her, like, let's give her some time to really space this out. Let me continue to be this strong foundation. And I saw a different type of strength come out of him. I saw a ride or die dude. I saw a husband who was willing to shift and change with me as I also was shifting and changing. So it made us stronger. It definitely made us stronger. We just celebrated our six-year anniversary over this weekend, and the love and the amount of just the deepness that has been created in getting through that chaos, is really inspiring for me to even just think about it. So and I love sharing about it, and I want to share more about it, but I know I just enjoy enjoying it.
Gotcha,
Like
gotcha.
it's an
And
amazing feeling.
I think that sometimes, you know, and I'm not saying all men, but I think that some men, they undervalue how what that
Mhm.
support means to women, right? Because I've got a husband who's very much like that, right? He's my support. Like, he's like, yeah, she's like, I'll forget things. I'll like he'll be getting ready to go to work, and I'll be like, where you going? he's like, well, I done told you, but he knows who I am, right? And he provides that support for me all the time. And I love that he provides that support for me.
Mhm.
And it just makes our relationship stronger, and it makes this entrepreneurship journey that much stronger. Now, what is some advice that you would give a new nurse that's coming to the profession for the first time?
Yes. Ooh, some advice I would give a new nurse is really be willing to cultivate a space for you to get to know you. I can say in the beginning of my nursing journey, I knew me, but there were aspects of me that I rejected about myself, or there were aspects of me that I suppressed. Be willing to get to know yourself. Be willing to set yourself up and your career up where you have space, where you have energy, and where you have time to really cultivate who you are. Really know what you stand for, and allow where you are to teach you.
Mhm.
Okay. And you allow where you are to teach you by being aware, by asking the questions. What does this interaction make me feel? What does it make me think about myself? Most of the time, nurses, we are people pleasers, and when we're new to a situation, we just want to fit in. I remember that first nursing job. I just wanted to fit in. I just wanted to feel competent in what I was doing. I just wanted to feel like, okay, no one is looking at me like I'm an imposter in this nursing job. But realizing that you got that job for a reason, realizing you're a new nurse, and nursing school is not easy. That NCLEX exam is not easy. Being willing to see yourself as a success as opposed to you having to still prove yourself is huge as a new
Huge.
nurse. Huge. Giving yourself the time, space, and energy to really embrace the journey of learning what you need to learn for your job. Learning and knowing that no one can make you feel what you don't already feel.
That's right. That's right.
No
I
one
love
can make
that.
you, no doctor, no other nurse, no coworker can make you feel what you don't already feel.
I love it.
So
I love it.
take accountability for your feelings, take accountability for your thoughts, and realize that you have the power to change them. You have the power to create peace. You have the power to create passion in what you do, and you have the power to create positivity in what you do.
I love what you just said, because the reality is that they can't make you feel. So if someone comes up to me and they says that, you have a green nose, right? I'd be like, I ain't got no green nose, right? Because I don't have a green nose, right? And
Mhm.
because I know that instinctively. But if someone came up to me and said, well, you're not cute. Well, if I think that I'm cute, then I have
Yep.
I'm struggling, right, with that. But, of course, I think I'm cute, so I'm okay with that. But
Yeah,
anyway,
you
now
are.
I love you. I love you. You are
Seriously.
cute. So now, where can the audience find you if they want a doula or a coach?
Yes. You can find me. I'm not on social media as much these days. And for good reason. But you can definitely find me by emailing me at slayburnout@gmail.com or mommyhelpnurse@gmail.com.
Okay. All right. Well,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you for showing up today. So my name is Dr. Viola Pierce. I am the owner and the CEO of VP Nursing and the Nurse Nurturer and the facilitators of Secret Suppers Worldwide with Dr. V, where our goal is to teach nurses to leverage the knowledge they already know, working from their computers around the world, making money and owning their own time. Our goal is to come to you each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to give you the fuel to crush your goals and to show up exceptional on a daily basis. Know that one of the goals of Morning Infusion with Dr. V is to expose you to leaders such as Apostola that have overcome, so that you know that the possibilities are endless. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave a comment if you were ever told that you would not succeed. And remember to click the calendar link above if you want to create another stream of income and enroll in our 12-week course, VP Nursing Business Academy. You guys have a phenomenal day.